Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Yes. Back to Jared for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
What's up, y'all? Welcome into the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I am not clearly Gary Parrish. I'm Ling Whitaker. I'm sitting in today for GP, who is at Big 12 Media Day.
Yep.
But I'm here. Bennett Doyle's here, and we are fired up because the Grizzlies are here. Season starts tonight, finally.
I can't believe it, honestly.
Why not?
I'm never ready for it. It always feels like it comes back so quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not prepared. It
like
takes
the
me,
off season is too short?
Yeah, like it just takes me a little while to get in the rhythm, I feel like.
Of the day-to-day.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I'm stoked it's back.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm ready for this game. I've been fired up because the last couple of weeks have been like Media Day was what, a month ago?
Yeah, it feels
it was
like
a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
When we did like the live streams and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then we only had 2 preseason games here, so it wasn't like a whole bunch of run up to this thing. And also, like, I think it's also just because last season was such a letdown.
Yeah.
Last season sucked.
It did.
It was so bad, like having to sit through that and all the 33 players we had and all that stuff, and going. I was thinking about it yesterday, actually, like watching the Celtics game last night. I was thinking, like these are 2 teams, Celtics and the Knicks, both like had big playoff runs. They were awesome teams, and then we had to go through what we went through last year.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got through it.
We did get through it. Yes, we did.
That's the important part. We got through it.
And we'll talk to Mike Wallace. He's in Salt Lake City, so we'll get the rundown from him coming up in the next segment. And then I want to talk about the big move in the NFL.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Your team is selling.
They are selling. It's the right thing to do. But we'll talk about that in a little bit in the third segment. We'll also we've got some arena news. We've got some interesting arena news.
Los Angeles-centric arena news.
Yeah, there's some debuts tonight. There's some weird food stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff to get to on the show today.
Well, let's get to it.
All
right. I want to start with the NBA. We talked about the Grizzlies and the season starting tonight, and we're fired up about that. I was watching the games last night on TNT.
Yeah, me too.
And the Celtics. On Grizz Beat a couple weeks ago, after that Knicks made the big trade with the Timberwolves, I unveiled my theory that I thought it made both teams worse. And I thought the T-Wolves were not going to be as good, and I thought the Knicks were not going to be as good because of that trade. And the people I was on the show with that day said, why would you say that? It's a terrible take. I don't know. I just don't think it fits either team. The Knicks did not look very good last night. It's one game. I get it. One game. Celtics looked awesome. Like, they couldn't miss. But the Knicks got shredded last night.
Yeah, they did. And I thought, it's funny. I thought watching that. I said yesterday to GP because he had me pick the Timberwolves Lakers game, and I said I'll take the Lakers because I think Anthony Davis is going to cook Rudy Gobert, and that's exactly what happened last night.
And now you don't have another option in the post. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Nas Reed is not a post player.
No.
And
he's more perimeter oriented. Yeah,
he's all he can do is shoot threes basically, and he's great at that. But he's not going to go in the post and help you out. And you don't have a cat down there. I was actually looking the other day. I was curious because I was thinking, like, what do they lose when you lose Cat, and what do the Knicks gain when they gain Cat? Because to me, like, the big problem for the Knicks is you lost Hartenstein. He was so good in the playoffs for them.
Like, he was awesome for them.
Loose balls, rebounds, keeping the ball interior alive, tipping the ball back out, all that stuff. Last 6 seasons in a row, Karl-Anthony Towns' rebounds per game have declined every single season. And sure, they added Rudy Gobert. He became more of a perimeter player. It's not like you're adding Ben Wallace when you go out and get Karl-Anthony Towns. You're basically adding a jump shooter who can score from the outside. But he can also score inside. We saw, like, last night against the Celtics, there was in the second quarter, I think he had some hook shots. He was getting the ball, trying to attack a little bit. I thought with the Knicks, you're messing with more than anything, you're messing with the chemistry. And I thought that's going to be an issue with this team because that team in the playoffs also, you can only play 6-7 guys and get away with it because you have days off between games and all that stuff. Now you're getting into the grind of the NBA season. You lost one of your best depth guys in DiVincenzo. So I just thought the Knicks were going to be in trouble. Then that Lakers game last night, I've been sort of skeptical of this whole Bronny James thing since it started. Since the talk started of the Lakers are going to draft Bronny James, use a second-round pick on him, pair him up with LeBron, and I thought all along I was like, this feels so manufactured. Like it just like.
I don't think you're the only one that feels that way.
I know, but I felt kind of guilty for feeling that way. Like it was also like we were made to feel like, oh well, look, he had the heart problem when he was at USC. And Kenny Smith last night was like, well, he was a McDonald's All-American. He deserves to be in the NBA. And I was like, well, there's a lot of guys who are McDonald's All-American who were not NBA quality
not even
players.
Close.
Yeah,
right.
But look, Bronny had a tough year last year after being a McDonald's All-American in high school. Get it. Fine. The Lakers could have just signed him as a free agent. He wasn't going to get drafted, but they wanted to give him a moment and have his name be called, and then they give him a 4-year contract and all this stuff. And then they announced before the game last night that he's going to play in Game 1. And I was like, all right, like we're really like going to some lengths to manufacture this whole thing. But then last night when the game started and they had the clip of LeBron talking to Bronny on the bench, like as a basketball fan, I was like, whatever. As a dad, I was like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. Like imagine having that moment. You have a son. I have a son.
Oh yeah, me and GP talked about it yesterday. Like
as a dad, that was pretty darn cool seeing them sit there on the bench and LeBron say, like he gave his son advice. He was like, hey man, like just don't worry about making mistakes. Go out there and just be in the moment, have fun.
Yeah. I think that it's obviously like a big spectacle right now, and it was last night. And we said yesterday, like if you're the Lakers, you want to get this out of the way.
Well, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, well, they got to get it out of the way. We got to get this done with now.
Yeah.
To like, so I was like, well, surely they have a crappy game coming up. They could play him, against some team that's not good. So I looked at their schedule. Next game is the Phoenix Suns.
Right, that's Friday. Yeah.
So you don't want to like shoehorn him into that one.
Right.
Next game after that, Sacramento Kings, another good team. Next game after that, Phoenix Suns again. But then on next Wednesday, the 30th, they play the Cavaliers at Cleveland. Like that would have been kind of cool to have Bronny and his dad play together in Cleveland.
That would be cool.
That's kind of cool.
That's a cool story. I mean, I think I said this yesterday. I think he's going to go to the G League sooner than later.
Oh yeah.
I think that how this is going to end up playing out now that you got it out of the way and had the big moment. I think that he probably goes to the G League soon. he probably plays in the G League for a while.
Yeah.
And then maybe they bring him back later in the season.
If he warrants it.
If he warrants it. Yeah.
I thought like the way he played, I mean, there was zero coincidence. He came in the game. Lakers had the ball.
Yeah.
They get back on the other end. The T-Wolves hunt him on a switch right away.
Yes. And
Julius Randle makes barbecue chicken out of Bronny. The first possession, scores right away.
Yeah,
Done.
like he is not going to play for the Lakers.
No.
He's just not.
He's not going to play a key role for that team.
No, if he plays at all. Like I mean, that team is good. I mean, we saw last night. That's a good team. He's not going to crack that rotation.
Well, I think the key for the Lakers is going to be if AD stays healthy.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
You know,
Barkley talked about that a ton last night.
He's been, you know, I mean, Barkley used to call him street clothes. And then, like, last year, AD was healthy and was very good for that team. If he's healthy, they've got a shot. But when the second team came in for the Lakers last night, when that second unit came in, they started running plays on offense and doing things with a lot of movement, off-ball stuff when Connect was in the game. They actually looked like a kind of a fun team to watch. When the starters were in there, it was more like, okay, get the ball to LeBron, find the mismatch, go. Do your thing, Bron. But when that second unit was in there, they were doing some cool stuff. So I don't the Lakers might be fun to watch. Minnesota struggled. They were kind of in the game, but they never really got it down to, I think, 4 points in the fourth quarter. But it was kind of like,
I think they're still going to be awesome. I think they're still a surefire playoff team. I'm just with you. I said yesterday, I just do not think that I do not think they upgraded with that.
I don't either.
Carl Towns trade. I don't. I think that's going to bite them.
I understand it's financial too, though. Like for them,
of course,
more so than the Knicks deal. By the way, the Knicks, Mikal Bridges. Can we talk about that?
Like the jump shot.
He changed his jump shot. Couldn't shoot anything in the 2 for 19 on threes in the preseason. 0 for 4 to start the game last night. And then he goes back to his old shooting form mid-game and hits like 5 buckets in a row.
Yeah.
You're like, all right. It took about half a game. So maybe he sticks with the old form because he was a good three-point shooter previously, 40% basically. I don't know why he changed. It was like he saw Kyle Anderson shoot a jump shot and thought, let me try that out. But he switched away from that and went back to that. But with the season start, we're going to get Mike Wallace in here in a little bit. But give me your pick for the Grizzlies this year, your prediction.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of similar to where I was last season. I think they're going to – what I've got them 50 and 32, and that's good enough for 6th in the West. I think the West is going to be a gauntlet. I think you got to get 50 wins to crack that top 6 in the West this season. So I think they're going to have to do that to get a guaranteed playoff spot. I think they can, again, barring injury. I think if this team's fully healthy and gets Vince and Gigi back, sooner rather than later, like we don't want the Gigi thing to go longer than we thought it was going to be, and hopefully Vince comes back soon. Obviously, we hope Jaren's back by this weekend. But barring injury, I think that they'll be a guaranteed playoff team, and I like them to finish 6th in the West. That's what I had them last year. It's funny when I said that before last season, Gary was like, "What? That you're just a hater." Like they finished top 2 the past 2 seasons, but I mean, it's just I think the West is just brutal.
Here's the thing: is we always forget. Some team in the West or some teams in the West are going to get hit by injuries.
For sure.
It was us last year.
It was us.
Hopefully it's not us this year. But someone else in the West is going to have that. Some team that everyone's predicting to be ahead of us. Some team that people think is going to be a top 5 team in the West is probably going to have some crazy injury thing, which sucks. But I don't think it's going to take 50 wins to be a 6 seed. I think I'm right around 48.
I'm looking at last season. I believe it took 49 wins to crack the top 6 in the West.
I think that's where we are. I think 48, 49. Like I don't know if we need 50.
40. Phoenix finished 49 and 33 last season.
I thought it was interesting. Mike Wallace, I think it was in the column he wrote yesterday. We can ask him about this, but he talked about how Taylor Jenkins was talking to the players about, like, when we say we don't need to get back to where we were 2-3 years ago. Like, this is a new team. This is a new thing.
Yep.
Like, it's not necessarily, hey, let's get back to being a 2 seed. Let's just be what we can be and be what we are. I think 48 for finishing 18 games above 500 after what happened last season.
Yeah.
Feels like quite a swing in things. I think this team is capable of that. I just don't know if they're going to be able to go from point A to point B that quickly in one season. My guess is that by the end of the year, the Grizzlies are probably around 48, 49 wins. Maybe 2 wins either way, 2 games either way in either direction. But I think they avoid the play-in. I think that's
I'm there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just overreacting a little bit I think the Lakers have a really good chance of getting one of those top 6 seeds. They were in the play-in last season. I think the Pelicans are going to be good. I do. I have a feeling about the Pelicans. Yeah. And the Clippers are going to drop out. So you lose one, so that's good. But I mean, you look at these other teams that were in that top 6 last year. OKC's in, Denver's probably in, Minnesota's in. I think Dallas is in. I think Phoenix is probably in.
Maybe
again, barring injuries for all those teams. Like
one of those teams is not going to be in. I don't know which one. One of them is going to have something happen and not going to make it.
Sure. And then I would probably replace the Lakers with that Clippers spot. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting to watch this whole thing play out. I think the Warriors are still going to be good. Sacramento, I don't know.
The Clippers are interesting to me because
they're going to suck, dude.
You would think. They have a great coach, Ty Lue. They've got a guy who can score you 40 points a game and 10 assists.
Man, but he's up there.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
But that's all he does.
I know.
That's all he
fills
does.
it up.
He'll get you buckets.
Harden fills it up.
And then I saw this interview with Terrence Mann yesterday, role player on the Clippers team.
Yep.
And he said, this is the best defensive team I've ever played on in my life.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, if you start looking down that roster,
they got a good center in Zubac.
They got a bunch of these dudes who are like just kind of like glue guys.
Yeah.
They got
Norman Powell. Yeah, he's still a Clipper.
Terrence Mann.
God.
Derek Jones Jr. Kai Jones, who apparently is stabilized. They got Batum. They got just a whole bunch of kind of like guys. You feel like maybe they're like a player away. I mean, it should be Kawhi Leonard. If he's not around, maybe they figure out a way to, they got rid of Paul George because of salary concerns. Sure. So I don't know. But I think there's also going to be some team in the West that is going to be better than we think. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some team in the West that surprises people and makes a little run.
I mean, I got to think that Houston is fighting for a play-in spot at least, just because.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they invested in that thing and they brought in guys like they want to win. So I think that they're one of them. I mean, and then the Spurs with Wembanyama and Chris Paul and Greg Popovich, like that's a nice foundation right there. Yeah, the only teams that for sure aren't going to be in it are Portland, and then maybe the team we're playing tonight. I don't know. The Utah to me is one of the most uncertain teams in the West because I don't know what they want to do.
Well, it's really how bad do they want Cooper Flag?
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen's a nice piece.
Judging from franchise history, they seem like they might want Cooper Flag pretty badly.
Yeah, right. He does fit the mold. Yeah,
just saying. but I mean, I think the Jazz are still a year or two away from being that team. And you look, the worst we know this. The worst place you can be in the NBA is in the middle. Yeah. You either want to be really good or really bad.
That's why I say that's why I just feel like the West is just as hard as it's ever been because I'm looking at this and there is you convinced me a little bit on the Clippers. I still think
I don't know.
I still think they're going to suck. But I'm looking at the West. There's only one team that I'm like, okay, they are definitely going to suck and not be a competitor, and that's Portland. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else. Maybe the Jazz. We'll see.
I think the Kings aren't going to be as good as they were 2 years ago.
I don't think they're going to be but they're going to be competitive.
They'll be okay, yeah.
They have good home court advantage, yeah.
And I think the Thunder to me are like, we got to take a break and get to Mike.
Yeah,
the Thunder to me are like one of those teams that's an awesome regular season team, not really built for the postseason. Like they're a team that'll just outwork you and outman you on the second night of a back-to-back type of team. But I don't think they're really built for the postseason. I think they might finish with the best record in the regular season, but let's see what happens in the postseason.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back. Michael Wallace is going to join us from Salt Lake City. He's with the Grizzlies, where they tip off the season tonight on FanDuel TV and on ESPN 92.9. You can watch that game and listen to that game. But we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Michael Wallace here on the Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, do win Player of the Year twice. Like,
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges. I gotta get them. And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, sitting in for GP. He's back tomorrow. Bennett Doyle's here. And joining us from Salt Lake City, apparently in a fine suite. Mike, you must have got an upgrade. This is Michael Wallace, Grind City Media.
Look at this.
Look at that.
Wow.
What's going on?
No, this is not an upgraded suite, man. I'm in the
this is the regular
lobby,
suite?
so this is the lobby. Nah, this is the lobby area, man. But it's all good. Team hotel, everybody's up, getting ready for this morning shoot around for the season opener, man. So looking forward to a hard, full, fun day of work today.
Hey, before we get going, I wanted to we want to show you a clip. It was going around on Twitter this morning. There's a podcast. The young man in the three.
Yeah,
is that what it's called? It's JJ Redick's old podcast.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton guest hosted, and he had Barack Obama, President Obama, as his guest on the first episode. And the talk was about teams that he's looking forward to see this season. And Abigail, can we play this clip?
I'm excited to see what Memphis does this year because those guys got banged up so bad. But Ja can do some things on that court.
For sure. Ja can do some things on that court, said President Obama. And we finally get to see Ja on the court tonight. What's the mood out there, and how are the guys feeling, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, the mood is that they're ready for the game. You know, they went through training camp. You know, they went through the preseason, all 5 games of the preseason. And now, you know, they landed here in Salt Lake City last night, yesterday evening, got a nice dinner, some team meetings in. And now it's all about work. You know, you'll start seeing guys trickle by me in the background here momentarily as we get ready to get on the bus for shoot around. So, you know, it's a real business-like atmosphere, real business-like mindset. The Grizzlies know they're, you know, full strength yet, you know, with Jaren Jackson Jr. Not full, some of the guys on the injury report. But these guys are ready to go. And like, okay, let's take care of business.
You wrote a column today for Grind City Media. I guess it went up last night about heading into this new season and a feeling of gratitude from some of the people around the program.
You know, and I'm getting a little bit of interference here, so I apologize for the not so stable Wi-Fi here in the lobby. It's a massive lobby, so it's probably not the strongest signal yet. But you know, my piece today, you know, went up last night. You know, it basically just said, look, these guys are mid-career veterans now. You know, Jaron has been here for 7 years. You know, Ja and Taylor Jenkins and Brandon Clark have been here for 6 years, and now you're looking at Desmond Clark being here for 5 years. So the time is now. You know, and one of the interesting things from that piece is talking to Marcus Smart, who had to look at that ring ceremony last night with the Boston Celtics, a team that he helped mature to get to this point before he was traded to the Grizzlies. And he said, I see a lot of similarities in terms of the trajectory that these teams have been on, you know, getting some strides, having some setbacks, having some injuries, having some doubts, having some off-court issues they had to sort through. But at the end of the day, they finally got their footing right. And he said that the Grizzlies, he sees a group of guys that are ready to get their footing heading into the season to go far.
There was you also had a tweet, Mike, where you were talking about your guess of the rotations, what it looks like for tonight. I was pretty much on with you. You had Ja, Dez, Marcus, Santi, Edey as starting, and your guess was Scottie Pippen, Conchar, Jalen, Wells, Jake LaRavia, BC off the bench for that 10-man rotation. The only thought I had was maybe they would swap out BC and Zach just to give BC a start and, you know, let Zach come off the bench so he can have some barbecue chicken against the second team of the Utah Jazz. But I mean, do you think Zach Edey gets his start tonight in his first NBA game?
You know, I think he does. You know, I can see going smaller too, but again, Zach Edey played up against, remember, his first Summer League game was against Walker Kessler, the same starting center that starts for the Utah Jazz right now. And he held his own in that matchup against Walker Kessler. The moment wasn't too big for him. I think if you're going to throw him in, you know, this is a team that has some size up front, and you might as well get him in here right now. So I can certainly see going interchangeable at center, especially with Zach and Brandon Clark. So, you know, we'll see. That could be a wrinkle that Taylor Jenkins throws in there. It's certainly one that wouldn't surprise me if it does happen.
Hey, Mike, everybody's excited about seeing Ja's return tonight. I know that's what all eyes are on. But anything else that, like, you specifically are looking forward to seeing play out tonight for the Grizzlies? Like, what are you going to have your eyes on the most?
That second unit, that bench, you know, that unit is going to be tested from the jump because of the numbers. I mean, you have 5 guys on the injury report, including 4 guys that are going to be rotation players. When you talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. starting, Vince, Gigi, and Luke Kennard all being members of that second unit. So now you're elevating some guys on that second unit who wouldn't normally get these kind of minutes this early in the season. And, you know, I'm looking at Jake LaRavia. I'm looking at Jalen Wells. You know, I'm looking at Scottie Pippen Jr. Now that he's paid, now that he's solidified as a backup point guard, can those minutes when the Grizzlies have to go to the bench be productive? Can they be plus minutes or at the very least neutralized minutes? You can't have those be significantly minus minutes in the plus minus. So that's what I'm looking at the most in this game right now. You're relying on the bench from the outset. Let's see if that bench is ready to step up right now.
And not to mention, like, the Grizzlies start with, was it like 6 games in 8 days or something? Like, the schedule's crazy right off the bat. We have 3 home games coming up. There's 2 games on the road. They get home. They play Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, I think, next week. So there's a bunch of games. So not only is your bench important in terms of rotation and who's going to give you production, but depth is going to get tested right away. And you got guys coming off injuries in training camp. You know, Jod was held back a little bit. Jaren still is not in the rotation. So I think it's not only going to be what kind of production do you get from the bench tonight, but it's how is this going to sustain itself over the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. And if with the Grizzlies, you have a extra roster spot available if you need to go ahead and get some help. If any of these things linger, or if you happen to sustain, God forbid, another injury that knocks a rotation guy out. So you have that 15th roster spot available. You have a 2-way spot theoretically available as well too. So the Grizzlies can do some things when it comes to that. And they don't have a two-way spot available. Yuki has a two-way spot, but they do have the roster spot.
Yeah.
I just hope for their sake that they can get through this 6 games in 9 nights to start the season, because it's going to be coming quick and fast, man. And yes, these are manageable teams that you can be competitive with and beat. But just the gauntlet of the schedule is hovering right above. So yes, that's going to be very important.
Me and Lang just went through the Western Conference before we got to you, and we said the only surefire lottery team we think in the West is probably Portland. I think we might put Utah in that group. But what can you tell us about this team tonight? Grizzlies obviously favored, but it is a road game in Utah. That's never an easy place to play. What should we know about the Jazz?
What we should know about him is that Walker Kessler is a certified big in this league. He's been in the league for now 3 years. He's one of the best rebounding and shot blocking bigs. You have Lauri Markkanen, who's an all-star. They just paid him a boatload of money to be the anchor of this team right here. They drafted Cody Williams. So it's one of those situations where they're kind of in flux right now. They still have Colin Sexton. They still have some other guys that have been on this roster for a couple years. But they also have this rebuilding mindset as well, too. So they're kind of in no man's land right now, but they are dangerous. They love to play well at home. And the Grizzlies came up here last year and saw how hard this team can play early in the season at home, too. They do have balance. They had 8 players average double figures in scoring during the preseason, and the preseason mattered for these guys. They went 4-2 in the preseason to get ready for the season. They have a different fan base now. I was out at the arena last night on my check-in, and they had a NHL game. So this is an NHL team now with their new professional hockey team here. So, this is a different engaged fan base, and this team is already one of the hardest home places to play if you're a visiting team, and I don't think that changes tonight for the Grizzlies.
I was telling Bennett, I think what we find out from the Jazz tonight is how badly did they want Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey or whoever. We're going to see, like you said, they're kind of in no man's land in the NBA. That's a terrible place to be for a franchise. You either want to be terrible or really good. So the Jazz kind of have to make that decision. But it looks like, Mike, just looking at the Grizzlies schedule, like you mentioned, 6 games in 9 days, but these are mostly winnable games, right? These are teams that are trying to get to that next level against a Grizzlies team that, when healthy, is well constructed and has veterans and has, on paper, enough to beat most of these teams. We've seen the Grizzlies kind of look at things and take a long view the last couple of years when injuries are involved or playing time or trying to get everyone out there. Do you think the Grizzlies feel like they need to come out of this with, I don't know, 4-2, something like that?
Oh, no. I mean, absolutely. This is a fast start. They need to get off to a fast start. And that's from the top of the organization all the way down. They're expecting a solid, fast start. And the hope is, obviously, if Jaren Jackson Jr., as everything indicates that he's trending towards being, back this weekend for possibly the home opener, then you're not still full strength, but you're full strength in terms of your core guys. And if you can't take advantage of this, first 10, 15, 20 game stretch of the season, then there's going to be some signs that, hey, I don't think patience is going to be tolerated as much this season as it was in previous years. This team is expected to get out fast, get out the gates, and be productive. Hopefully by game 20, you're looking at a team that's somewhere around, at the worst, 15-5, 14-6, somewhere around there, and taking advantage of it, because then you're trending towards the top of the Western Conference.
Yeah. All right, Mike, speaking of getting out the gates fast, I know you got to go to shoot around. So we're going to let you get out of that ornate lobby that you're sitting in and and go over to shoot around and look forward to.
I feel like I need to light up a cigar, like I'm in the SEC.
Yeah, it is. It does have cigar bar vibes. Yeah.
Randy.
You need a fedora. Yeah. Like one of your hats, one that you wear sometimes.
Yeah, I can find one.
All right. Well, hey, we'll let you get out of here. We're going to keep talking Grizzlies, but appreciate you, and we'll look for your coverage tonight and from the rest of this road trip, and then we'll see you back here this weekend. Let's warm it up on Saturday, too, when you get back.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Michael Wallace joining us.
You guys are going to be doing a pregame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
You're the one that said it.
I did say it. I did say it.
My bad. Okay, well, stay tuned.
Let's announce it. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead, announce it. What are we hiding from?
We're not. We're doing a new pregame show. Live, hour before every game. Michael Wallace and I on the court. We did the.
I mean, it's no secret. I saw you guys down there doing your rehearsal. Yeah,
we for years we've done the pre-wine, it's gone through multiple iterations.
Yeah,
and the goal all along was try to elevate this thing to make it a pregame show, and now finally it's going to become a pregame show.
Awesome, man!
Excited about that.
Very cool.
So yeah, it'll be an hour before every game, live on everywhere you could want to watch it: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
The app, all those different places, live everywhere at once.
Sweet.
Which is kind of cool.
Awesome.
So, anyway.
To his point about how the thing he's most interested tonight is the bench. It's obviously with all the guys out thin tonight. I think that, when you talk about those backup guard wings, like I think between Conchar, Jalen Wills, and Jake LaRavia, like, I feel like you need 2 of the 3 of those guys to be serviceable.
Good.
Yeah, to good. Yeah. I think if all 3 of those guys aren't performing off the bench, you're in big trouble tonight. So you need something from at least 2 of them.
Hopefully there's a way. I was thinking about this. Hopefully there's a way that you have at least Ja or Bane on the court at all times.
At all times, right.
One of the 2 of them.
You're probably subbing out one of them pretty early in the game. Yeah.
I would assume that's why I was kind of thinking BC starts. Because then you have Edey coming off the bench, and you have, maybe Ja and Edey with the second team. And it gives you 2 scoring options on the floor right there. Because BC, as great as he is, Brandon Clark's not really, going to get you a bucket. You can't give him the ball and say, go to work. You can do that with Zach Edey. You can throw it to him in the post and be like, hey, we need a bucket. Go get one.
Yeah.
Brandon Clark's going to maybe get a floater in the paint or, tip in, that kind of thing. But he's not like a guy who just goes to work. The other thing is Scottie Pippen as that second string point guard, he can score. He can do things. We saw him in Summer League, should have been the MVP. We saw him last season, score. Yeah. But he's not Ja. And when Ja comes out of the game, it changes the way the team plays. And I think he's probably a little more suited to facilitating for a Zach Edey, something like that.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I think they'll start Edey just because of the Kessler matchup, right?
Probably, yeah. Who knows? But I just think, like, who else on that second unit is going to be able to get you a bucket?
Yeah, another thing, I saw somebody point this out today. I wish I could attribute credit because I can't remember who said it, but the big matchup problem is going to be Santi and Lauri Markkanen, just because Santi's not a great defender. So they're going to have to figure out how to handle Markkanen tonight.
There's also
without Jaren.
I was also thinking about this. Like, there's this history the last few years last decade of guys going and playing in the Olympics and coming back and having like a big season.
Yeah,
Santi was the best player on the Spanish team in the Olympics.
Yep.
And he's looked pretty good in the preseason. Like,
yeah,
he's no longer being asked to be the best player on the court like he was last season for a large part of the season. Also, like, how about this? There was a group of guys here from Spain last week doing a documentary.
I saw him talking to him.
Did you know Santi's the only Spanish player in the NBA this season?
Really? I'm surprised by that. I mean, obviously they didn't have Olympic success.
They barely made the Olympics.
Yeah, that's a team that we're used to seeing being like a medalist.
They're sort of in between those generations because like the Gasols are gone. Rudy Fernandez is retired.
Calderon's
Ricky Rubio,
gone,
Calderon, all those guys are kind of gone. Sergio Llull, the guy who played last year, all those guys are gone, and I assume there's this next generation on the way. But they're sort of in between that. And one of those guys mentioned Santi being the only Spanish player in the NBA. And he mentioned it to Taylor Jenkins when he was asking Taylor about what Santi's been like to work with and stuff. But I was kind of shocked by that. Like, that's pretty surprising. But I think Santi, he's going to start right now while Jaren's out. But, when Jaren comes back and you move Santi to that second unit, there's one of your scorers on your second unit.
Yeah.
That's a guy who can create, do stuff,
I think for him that three ball is just everything. Like him being able to stretch the floor is so massive for this team. When he's hitting that three, it's a totally different look. Yeah, he has been.
Yeah. So
he had a good preseason. Yep.
And Jalen Wells is the other guy. Led all the rookies in scoring in the preseason, or was second among rookies in scoring in the preseason. But clearly has looked like he belongs on the NBA court. Has the size, the ability to get shots, can shoot from outside, do all those things. Like maybe he's the guy on that second unit who ends up being the guy who comes in and gets you 12
That'd be
points.
awesome.
That
would be awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm stoked, man. It's I get a little nerves just because we're missing guys, but I'm excited about it.
I want to see Ja dunk on someone tonight.
I do
dunk
too,
on
man.
Walter Kessler,
Obviously that's the thing that I'm the most excited about is I just want him to come out and like dominate, and people be like, "Oh shit, yeah,
we forgot about
we
this.
forgot
dude.
about this guy.
This
Yeah.
guy can score in the paint better than anybody.
Yeah,
like yeah, and like we've only seen like pieces of him playing with Zach Edey,
right?
And when we have, it's looked pretty awesome.
It's looked good.
The first play of that game the other night, they ran that pick and roll, and Ja hit Edey and he dunked it, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we got something here. So I'm excited to see them get to play together. And we're talking about all these other guys, and all these. We haven't mentioned Desmond Bain at all. Like, could this be an all-star season for Des?
He has kind of gone under the radar just because there just really hasn't been a lot of news surrounding him, right? Like with Jaren, you had the hamstring, and obviously Jaws return. Zach Edey, yeah, Dez is just like there. He looks
like he slimmed down a little bit.
He definitely does look like he slimmed down. He had a nice preseason as well. So yeah, man. I mean, that's just a kind of like one of those forgotten guys. I think he was. Where did they place him in the NBA?
Oh, he was like
the ranking
65th or something like that.
It was yeah. I like it, and he didn't like that. Oh yeah, we heard his comments about it. So yeah, he's got a little something to prove this season too, coming off an injury. So
and he had a got married in the summer. You know, had the big wedding and all that. Like Dez, I have a feeling like we're not talking about Dez, and we haven't talked about Ja that much. Like, but those two dudes, like, if the Grizzlies are going to do anything this year, they need those two guys. And tonight we're going to find out where we are.
Yeah.
So let's take a break. We're going to come back with 5 things here on the Gary Parrish Show, here on Grind City Media.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Costinette stream. By the way, he stole your hair, dude. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract. He is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Hot Wheels fans, don't miss the exciting return of Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow Party at FedEx Forum. Don't miss the world premiere of Stegosaurus. Watch your favorite Hot Wheels monster trucks light up the floor, including Gungster, Bone Shaker, and the legendary Bigfoot. Plus the dazzling dance party, laser light show, and more. And save up to 50% on kids' tickets. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind Hot Wheels experience at FedEx Forum, November 2nd and 3rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic League injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, on evenings, and even on Saturdays. So the next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. And I'm Lane Whitaker. He's Bennett Doyle. And we're going to go with 5 things that you need to know about.
Number 1.
Your team is falling apart, Bennett.
Well, we saw this coming. DeAndre Hopkins is on the move, and he is if you could pick one destination to go to, I think...
If you're a receiver, yeah.
If you're a receiver, I think playing with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs is pretty high up there. So he's headed to Kansas City. I believe the Titans are getting a 5th-round pick that could turn into a 4th-round pick. And they're in fire sale mode. I mean, Titans are terrible. The quarterback situation's a disaster. It was the last year of Hopkins' deal.
Is it as funny for you? I mean, it's probably not funny at all for you. But for me, when I'm watching something and all of a sudden that Will Levis mayonnaise commercial comes on, do you just get furious?
I mean, I can't fault the guy for making his money. It'll be
the mayonnaise company.
It'll be the last endorsement he ever gets. But yeah, I can't fault the guy for getting his money.
What company is it? Hellman's?
Dude, I saw it's Hellman's mayonnaise, and this all came because he said he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
But if I'm just a consumer myself, I'm not a Titans fan. I'm not a Will Levis fan. I just know he's been terrible, and I knew. Well, I saw him play Kentucky. Yeah. I knew he wasn't going to be good in the NFL too. But it makes me question the judgment of Hellman's.
I'm more of a Dukes guy, anyways. I don't like mayonnaise, by the way. I'm not a mayonnaise guy in general. But
I hate mayonnaise deniers.
No, I'm not no. I'm not a mayonnaise guy. Now, if I'm having like a BLT, I'll have a little small sheen of Dukes, but that's it.
First of all, I'm a Kewpie mayonnaise guy, which is the Japanese mayonnaise.
Okay.
Which is like a lot more acidic and salty. It's great.
Okay.
It's better than Duke's or Hellman's. I actually saw it the other day at Kroger and stuff. They have it everywhere now. I used to have to get it at the farmer's market, the Cordova International Farmers. Anyway, do you not use like oil or butter in your foods?
Yeah.
Because that's all mayonnaise is.
It's just how it looks. It's like gloppy white grossness. Like I don't.
If you leave milk out, it looks gross too. But
I like milk. I don't like the consistency of mayonnaise.
Do you like DeAndre Hopkins, or do you like getting a draft pick back?
So this is just another example. I mean, this team, and I know that like each situation's different, but like this team has traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles, Derrick Henry to the Ravens, DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. Like, we're literally a farm system for Super Bowl contenders. The Titans are. It's embarrassing at this point. And I understand why they had to do this. It just sucks. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I was so stoked when they went out and got him. Last year was clearly a disaster. And you know, they weren't going to win anything with him there, so it makes sense for them. But it just sucks. Like it happened with Randy Moss once upon a time. Like he was a Titan for a split second, and then everything was disastrous. He goes, they have to move on from it. So the situation is
4th round
bad.
pick?
Yeah. Amy Adams, the owner, said that they're still sticking by Will Levis. I know you have to say that, but I'm like, just stop. You don't want to say that out loud to your fan base right now, because that's who everyone's pointing to as why the season's going the way it is. I think there's a lot of circumstances. I think Rand Carthen has not been as good as advertised. Some of these draft picks just are not panning out. I know that he's early in his tenure. The free agency moves aren't really panning out either. So, this whole organization has a lot of pressure on it right now. They've got a new stadium on the way.
Right now, they'd have the 4th pick in the draft next season.
Got a new stadium on the way in, I think, 27. I think that's when it's scheduled to open. And the franchise is one of the worst in the league. I think I probably would put Carolina at the very top.
Yeah.
Titans are right there. I mean, I would jumble them in with like the Browns and
just like in terms
Jaguars.
of the general, like just general mismanagement.
Yeah, I just I think when they moved on from Mike Vrabel, I was mad about it. I think that looks right now. Mike Vrabel would not be 1-5. He would not with this roster. He would not be 1-5. Brian Callahan, we'll see. I haven't seen anything to suggest that he's a good NFL coach. Not again, his quarterback situation is disastrous. But
I'm sorry to laugh at your misfortune. It is funny that to see you just going in on your team.
Well, dude, they brought him in because he's supposed to be one of the great young offensive minds in the league. Their offense is dead last in the league, and the only reason that they're even competitive is the defense is great. But that ain't him. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's brought in to be the offensive genius.
But also, like, all right, so you bring in an offensive genius and you give him Will Levis. Like, what's he supposed to do with that?
No, that's true. That's very
trade
fair.
away Derrick Henry.
But then your backup quarterback, you went and got Mason Rudolph in free agency. He was terrible this weekend. Like, it's just they've made horrible decisions and horrible moves. They're just a freaking disaster right now. And I'm rooting for DeAndre Hopkins. Going back to his situation and that move, it's obviously massive for the Chiefs who lost Rashee Rice. Like they went out and got a guy who I think can still be a number one guy. He's a clear red zone threat. And when you look at his career, dude, he's played with bad quarterbacks his whole career. Like literally, I think the best quarterback he ever played with was a young Deshaun Watson in Houston. So he's been good his whole career and has played with pretty much nothing but mediocre to bad quarterbacks. Now he's about to play with a surefire Hall of Famer. And so I think he's going to be awesome there. I think that's a massive move for the Chiefs.
Who do you want to get in the draft? Do you want to get a quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is,
Shedeur Sanders.
Here's the problem is like this quarterback class is there's a lot of uncertainty right now as far as
Cam Ward,
who's the guy, right? Like who
just signed with Adidas today, by the way.
Yeah, like who's going to be that top guy? I like both of those guys. I don't know if either of them is like a franchise-changing NFL quarterback.
Jalen Milroe,
no.
Carson Beck,
pass.
Okay.
I think I'll pass.
Quinn Ewers.
I've watched this team. I've watched this team put out so many just mediocre quarterbacks over the years, mediocre to bad. I want like the dynamic guy. I want like the guy
Michael Vick
that's
type.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, I want
Lamar
the exciting
Jackson,
quarterback. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. I know Patrick Mahomes that he's one of one, but like yeah.
I mean, look, I'm a Falcons fan. I still remember when we traded up the day before the draft to get the number one pick to take Michael Vick.
Yeah,
it was transformative. It totally changed everything, and it was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, we have the guy.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he was fighting dogs, which didn't work out well for
that
anybody.
whole thing sucked.
But anyway, so you want to move on to other NFL stuff? We have some other news.
There is some other NFL news. Jameis Winston's going to start for the Cleveland Browns this weekend, that was such a weird deal because he was the third string quarterback. As soon as Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles in that game, I'm like, oh, they're about to bring Jameis out here. Let's see what it looks like. And they bring out Dorian. Not
Dorian Finney-Smith. Thompson Robinson.
Thompson Robinson. He gets hurt in the game, and so then they have to bring in Jameis, who threw a touchdown pass, like one of like five they probably had this season.
Those clips you see of him doing interviews and stuff, I mean, he's certainly a dynamic speaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes.
No, you know what? I think Jameis is like a better he's like a better Gardner Minshew. Like he's like a guy, he's going to come out, he's going to turn the ball over. Like you're just not avoiding that. He's going to throw interceptions, but like he will get the ball down the field to your playmakers. He's good at doing that.
Do you remember when he got drafted by Tampa Bay and they were on Hard Knocks that season?
Yeah.
And the GM cried and said, this guy is going to be, he's the most magnetic player or person we've had in sports since Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
And then he wasn't that good.
No, now they're done. Like they're not going to be able to.
I wanted Deshaun Watson to stay healthy as a gambler.
Yeah.
Because it was just, you could just bet against
Easy
him every
money.
week. And they couldn't take him out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Because they had to play him, and you knew they were just stuck. They were just going to be bad the rest of the season. Now they have at least they have a chance with Jameis out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of crazy, the Deshaun Watson situation. Like you go from a starting NFL quarterback to probably not in the league when you come back. I don't think any team will will take him as a backup. I don't.
Do you think
see
it was the system they were running? Like, I did see a bunch of tweets yesterday from Browns fans who were like, he didn't fit the way that Stefanski wants to coach. They were like, and Stefanski was trying to like shoehorn him into this system, and it didn't work.
I think that's fair.
I don't know.
Because
he was good.
He was great in Houston.
Cleveland.
Yeah, he was great in Houston. And then the other thing, Alvin Kamara got paid. He was a guy that was like a big potential trade candidate. I think like Cowboys fans really wanted that to happen, especially after he lit them up a couple weeks ago. But he's staying in New Orleans for a crappy Saints team.
Hey, as a Falcons fan, I enjoy the Aints being crappy.
Yeah, they'll retool that thing and get healthy in the offseason. They're another team that's got to get a quarterback. Like, you can't just keep running Derek Carr out there. I know he was.
Yes, you can.
I know he was playing well, but that's not the answer.
Spencer Rattler.
You watch. Derek Carr will be a Titan. Derek Carr will be a Titan. There's just no doubt in my freaking mind.
I was enjoying Saints fans talking themselves into Spencer Rattler in the preseason. Like, I was watching that. People were being like, "Hey, Carr might not make it, but Rattler, this is it. This is the guy." And he's been terrible.
Yeah, he is. He is absolutely terrible.
All right, you want to go on to number 2?
That's our NFL news. Yep.
Number 2.
Shohei. Well, it's not really his money, but the ball, the 50-50 ball, the home run he hit for the 50th home run to put him over the 50-50 mark is sold for $4.39 million.
Yeah, that is by far the most ever for a baseball. I wonder what the previous record was.
I can tell you. It was $3 million, which was paid for Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball in 1998.
I'm surprised that's the high. That was the highest. Yeah.
Remember the Bonds one sold to Mark Ecko,
Babe Ruth,
and Mark Ecko put a asterisk on it. Remember?
Oh, jeez.
He branded it with an asterisk.
This isn't a surprise, though.
I wonder we don't know who paid that much. It says it, but I think because Ohtani has a global appeal, it said like it was a global auction, so it opens up the money from all over the world, basically. Said that the winning offer was actually $3.6 million, but there was a 22% buyer's premium, which pushed it to 4.392. The crazy part to me, Bennett, is like we're 2 days away from the World Series starting, and no one's talking about it. Nobody.
And it's like the biggest World Series we've had in forever.
Ohtani against Aaron Judge.
I was okay. So let's see World Series history. Like I want to see when was the last time we had a matchup that was this compelling in the World Series. Let's see, because last year was Rangers Diamondbacks. Year before, Astros Phillies, Braves Astros, Dodgers Rays. Like you've got a lot of these. You had Dodgers Red Sox in 2018 that the Dodgers won. That's a pretty good one. That's two huge brands. But yeah, I'm just looking back. Like when the Cardinals won in 2013, they beat the Red Sox. That's a pretty big World Series. But yeah, just you got two of the biggest brands, and it seems like no one's really talking about it. I think it'll gain traction once we get into the weekend.
Probably.
Friday night's a good spot for them. Friday night's a really good spot for them.
I guess.
You're not going against NFL.
But the NBA is back.
NBA is back.
Hockey just came back. College football is going to be Friday night.
Yeah, but it's usually not premier matchups.
There's actually somebody.
Is there a good college football game
right now.
Friday?
I thought there was somebody who's like relatively high profile. No, Louisville Boston College. USC plays Friday night. USC plays Rutgers.
Okay, so my friend texted me this morning. He lives in LA, and he said that they've been getting warnings saying that LA traffic is going to be historically bad on Friday because you have game 1 of the World Series at Dodger Stadium.
Yep.
You have USC Rutgers at the Coliseum, and you have Lakers playing the Suns at Crypto.com. So you have 3 massive games going on at the same time. He was like saying how they're like it's being suggested that people park far away and walk to the games.
When they tell you LA traffic is bad, that's bad.
Dude, it's like we went last year. It was my first time in LA, and it was like I was prepared. Like I was like, okay, this LA traffic, it's going to be bumper to bumper. We're going to move slow, whatever. I could have never been prepared for what it was really like. We stayed in Anaheim. We drove up to see our friends in LA that day. And coming back, it was only, I think it's like a 21-mile drive distance from Anaheim to LA. Dude, it took us over 3 hours to get back. 21 miles.
Yeah.
Took us over 3 hours to get back. That's how insane that is.
You'd think there's like surface streets, other ways to go than the highways. You know?
Well, that's what we did. And there's probably like wrecks on the highway and stuff. That's why I was suggesting going through like neighborhoods and stuff. But it was terrible, and it's going to be really bad this weekend. So, good luck to all those people.
Go to number 3.
Number 3.
You gotta tell me about this one because I'm
I'm
not a Blade guy.
All right, so we got the news yesterday that the Blade movie that was supposed to star Mahershala Ali, Marvel movie that everybody's excited about, has been delayed indefinitely. And they're not gonna do. It's gonna.
When you say it's been delayed indefinitely, that means they're not gonna put it out.
Probably
it's
not.
Canceled.
The reason I think this is so weird is because you look at the success that Deadpool and Wolverine had. That's their last big, box office success. Rated R, tons of gore, tons of action, and you would think that they would see that and say, well, Blade, I mean, that's we could do a hard R and tons of people will still come see it. Like, it's why would we why would we change the mode? What are we trying to appease here? And so I don't understand why they're not doing this, because people clearly want to see it. It's funny it's not really spoilers. This movie's been out forever, but Wesley Snipes, the original Blade, makes an appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
And he says there's only ever going to be one Blade. And so maybe he was right. Maybe that has something to do with it.
So they were going to reboot it, basically?
Yeah, they were going to reboot it and make it a part of the MCU, but it's not going to happen now, which is very disappointing.
So what's the next MCU?
Movie coming out? I think it's the new Captain America, Brave New World.
And Robert Downey Jr. now plays somebody else in the Marvel universe,
You're
right?
thinking of Iron Man.
I thought he was playing a different character now.
Oh yeah, he's going to be Dr. Doom in the new Fantastic Four. Yeah. Okay, no, you're right.
I'm right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a big superhero movie guy.
Yeah.
But I just like Batman. That's it.
I like Batman too. But he's going to be Dr. Doom. New Captain America. It's no longer Steve Rogers. It's the Falcon. He's played by Anthony Mackie. There was a changing of the guard. Steve Rogers got old and died.
Did that happen in the comic books, or is this just a movie thing?
I mean, this is what's happening in the movies.
Steve Rogers died.
Well, he got old.
I thought he was Captain America. How did he get old? I thought they engineered him in a laboratory and all that crap.
He died in the movie.
But how? I don't understand this. He was captain. He was a strong guy. He was he was a real puny guy.
I mean, technically, we didn't see him die in the movie.
I saw him in I saw the first Captain America movie, and the Civil War. What was it called? Where it's in World War II, and he's a real puny guy, and they pump him up with all those stuff,
serum,
and he becomes huge and big guy, and now somebody defeated him.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So
I actually have enjoyed. I like Batman. I showed my son recently the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Oh, nice.
Finished it. Loved it. I started watching The Penguin the other day.
I started watching it too. It's
I
good.
like it.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, it kind of reminds me of The Sopranos. Just the feel of it.
You got
like
the mob.
They're down by the
storyline,
docks and stuff, and it's like union guys.
Yeah,
and so,
it's also on HBO.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like The Sopranos a little bit, and also because
that makes sense.
Colin Farrell he does not look anything like Colin Farrell. He looks like more like Tony Soprano than anybody. He's like huge and kind of the way he walks and stuff. That's a great show.
I'm enjoying it too. It's been really good. But yeah, Blade's delayed indefinitely. We'll see what happens. I'm still, I'm kind of behind on like new stuff because I've been doing all these.
How's your horror movie?
Yeah,
October
so
going?
I am almost completely done.
8 days left.
Yeah, we did we did the rewatch of the Scream franchise, which was a lot of fun. I'm almost done with the rewatch of the entire Halloween franchise. That's all 12 or 13 movies, I believe.
All right.
It is. So I'm on the last trilogy. I'm on the second movie, Halloween Kills. So I just got that one and one more left to be completely done with it. And it's great. I'll put my rankings out once I finish it. My official rankings of the Halloween franchise. But right now, my favorite is Halloween 2, the original. Yeah, that's all I got.
Number 4.
Clippers Arena, Intuit Center, Dome, something.
Intuit Dome. Take me to the Dome.
It's going to debut. Finally, we've heard about it for years. Steve Ballmer built this place, and it's wild. It has all sorts of bells and whistles and scoreboards and cool things. And unfortunately for the Clippers, they get to debut it with James Harden and a bunch of role players. But it's going to open. We actually, last time I guest hosted this, we had Youngmisuk from ESPN on, and he had been to the Bruno Mars concert there.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's been open already. Yeah,
he told us that was like the first thing they had done there, and he told us a little bit about what it's like on the inside. But I've been to almost every NBA arena from my past life, working for NBA TV, NBA.com, and traveling around and going to stuff. Clearly, no one's been to this one, but I keep hearing that this one's amazing, and it's going to change the game for all these other arenas.
Yeah, I mean, what's unique about? I know they have like charging stations on the chairs, which is kind of cool.
There's something about. There's a whole section of stands where it's called the Wall.
Oh yeah, and it goes straight up. I'm looking at a
and
picture
it's like
of it.
the fans. That's where the hardcore fans are going to sit.
Oh, the hardcore Clipper fans.
And you can't,
all 5 of them.
You can't sell your tickets. You can't put those on StubHub or something like that. You have to. They have like a waiting list of people only can sit there and yell at you.
Have you ever met a Clippers fan in your life?
Yeah, Clipper Darrell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I actually went to a dinner with Clipper Darrell one time in L.A. There's the Wall. Look, can't cheer for the opposing team.
Okay, what if you do?
They'll kick you out. Can't wear opponent gear. Tickets can only be resold in Clippers Marketplace.
Now that's cool. I actually do think that's cool.
Season ticket on the walls from $5,000 to $25,000.
I mean, how can you prevent some? Well, you're going to say you got to leave?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
You can't do that
Yes,
to
you
people
can.
that bought their tickets.
They can't buy the ticket unless you get it through the Clippers.
Yeah, but I mean that you can lie. I don't. You can't police that.
You watched. I bet you in the first month of the season, there's going to be some fan from another team who sits in there and tries to cheer, and they kick him out, and it's going to be a story.
Okay, I disagree. But I like the idea of it. I mean, I just like. Again, no, there's not. They don't have some big fan base.
I get that.
Like that. Those games are just like a melting pot of NBA fans. When you see the crowd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you watch a Clippers game, you'll see like a ton of just random NBA jerseys in the crowd. It's just people that love the NBA that don't want to pay for Lakers tickets.
I mean, look, I lived in New York for 20 years, or not that long, but a long time, and the Knicks were terrible the whole time I was there. They went to the playoffs once. Every game sold out.
Devin said his cousin's a Clippers fan. That's crazy, dude.
Every game sold out because people wanted to go to an NBA game. And they came to New York City. They were tourists.
Yeah.
And they would go see the opposing team. You know, like, I think the Clippers are that for a lot of people in L.A. You can't afford to go to a Lakers game.
Right.
You're in L.A. like you're visiting people.
Yeah.
Hey, what do we do? Hey, let's go to a basketball game. Oh, these Laker tickets are $500 each on StubHub. We can get 2 of us to the Clippers game for $250 or whatever. I think they're like the more affordable option for a lot of these teams. But like, yeah, there's people who are fans. Like I remember Clipper Darrell that, like I said, I was during when the NBA finals were in LA, and it was the Lakers and the Celtics, and a bunch of writers, journalists all went out to dinner, and somehow somebody invited Clipper Darrell along. So Clipper Darrell's with us all, and we're sitting there and we're eating and just having a regular conversation. And Clipper Darrell was like, all of a sudden, do you guys think Corey Maggette is a long-term solution at small forward for the Clippers? Like, he really cared. Like, people, so there are fans who really care. He also had a car outside that was painted red and blue with the Clippers colors.
That's pretty cool.
On. There's people who care, but it's not like
Billy Crystal.
It's not like
he
the
loves
Knicks.
the Clippers.
Yeah.
No, it's not like the Knicks. It is not like.
Didn't Billy Crystal just go in the Basketball Hall of Fame for a fan? Like,
Did he?
Spike Lee just did.
I mean, when you think about like famous fans that are actually like famous people, you think of Spike Lee and the Knicks. You think of
Yeah, see, labeled a super fan by the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, you think of Billy Crystal and the Clippers. Who else?
Billy Crystal, Spike Lee, and myself all
Like
went
you think
into
of like
basketball Hall of Fame in the same weekend.
For some reason, I think of the Wahlbergs and the Celtics. They're like always.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson and the Lakers, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, that's a classic one. Yeah, I guess that's it. Like, I mean, Knicks, like you always have like the Saturday Night Live people. I think Adam Sandler's
What
a
about
Knicks fan.
for the WNBA? Jason Sudeikis is always at he was like a big New York Liberty fan.
Yeah,
he was
there at all those games. Yeah.
I
guess that's it. I guess it makes sense Billy Crystal got into that Hall of Fame.
I put him in.
Yeah, I put him in. Who's the Grizzlies?
We were talking about this the other day. I mean, probably the most notable fan that sits courtside is T. Morant.
That's accurate.
Right?
Yeah.
What about
you see Zebo courtside quite a bit now.
Brooklyn Nets don't really have
No. They don't have fans.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got to think of more like classic. I think of Ashley Judd and the Kentucky Wildcats.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's not really like NFL fans. I was thinking about that. Like that's it.
Not that you see at the games.
Not you see at the games. No, they're like like Kevin Durant's a Washington Commanders fan, but like you don't see him at the sitting by the field or whatever. Like you don't. It's hard to do. Although Georgia played Texas this weekend and Matthew McConaughey was on the field.
Yeah, he's another famous one.
And the weird thing was yesterday he tweeted. Did you see this? This is going off topic, but I saw this yesterday because I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Matthew McConaughey tweets. During the Georgia game the other day, clearly there was the people threw all the bottles on the field. And everybody was like, oh, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Matthew McConaughey tweets, where is this? That he was basically telling the fans they can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a teacher there.
Is he?
He's an administrator, man.
That was my question. I was like, is Matthew McConaughey like the athletic director?
No,
like, what's going on?
I'm pretty sure he teaches classes at the University of Texas.
Oh, here it is. Matthew McConaughey put out a statement. Longhorn Nation, specifically our DKR student section, MOC McConaughey coming at you here. You almost have to read this in his accent. Yeah, they found it. First off, you were electric Saturday night when we hosted. Anyway, goes on and it talks about the bottle bombing, the field glitch. Not cool. Bogey move. Yeah, that call was BS, but we're better than that. Longhorn Nation knows how to show up, show out like no other, and still keep our class.
Okay.
It's basically like telling people don't do that. But like, why is Matthew McConaughey putting out a statement about this?
Because he's a teacher at Texas, man.
Is he like the athletic?
No, he teaches some kind of course.
I haven't seen other teachers put out statements telling fans not to throw bottles on the field.
Fair enough.
Like make a good movie for us, Matthew.
Right. That's fair.
You know who's creeping up on Matthew McConaughey?
I got another one. I got another famous one. A-Rod and the Timberwolves.
He's the owner, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drake and the Raptors.
Somebody said Mike Trout for the Eagles.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Okay.
You know who's creeping up on McConaughey? Glenn Powell. He's like a dollar store Matthew McConaughey.
He's definitely.
He was also on the sideline at the Georgia-Texas game.
I wouldn't call him dollar store. He's a pretty big star now.
Yeah, but he's not McConaughey.
Not yet. He's on his way up.
He's trying to get
He's
there.
on his way up.
He's trying to be the next McConaughey.
I like Glenn Powell.
He's
I like him.
Do you like Matthew McConaughey?
I love Matthew
There you
McConaughey.
go.
Are you kidding me?
That's the thing. See, like he's on the trajectory.
Yeah.
Starting with Richard Linklater movie too, right?
Yep.
Like he started out with Everybody Wants Something. Like
that's
McConaughey
true.
started with Dazed and Confused. Anyway, somebody says Paul Rudd and the Chiefs. Luke pointed out Paul Rudd is a Chiefs fan. That's true.
That's true.
So is
Yeah,
the
you see
dude,
it.
the comedian Rob Riggle.
Is he a Chiefs
He's
fan?
a Chiefs guy. He's from Kansas City also.
Who would have thought?
Anyway, Obama and the Bulls. Oh, Justin
but you never
Timberlake
see-
and the Grizzlies.
Well, you never see him in the games either.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Number 5.
So last night in LA also, besides the Intuit Dome opening tonight, the
Yes.
Lakers played at Crypto.com, and they had some new food. And my old buddy Arash Markazi was at the game and took some photos. They have a new restaurant that is nothing but Doritos items. And they had some items including the nacho cheese michelada, the spicy sweet chillin' ramen Rito, Cool Ranch loaded pita, hot limon churros, hot Cool Ranch Cali roll. I'm going to zoom in on this photo.
I mean, if I'm being honest, some of that stuff sounds good.
You can scan the menu for the full descriptions. Let's see if
it's called
works.
Doritos After Dark.
Oh, I got it.
I think I'm a proponent of this. I've said on this show last week that the greatest chip of all time is the Dorito.
Oh, it's DoritosAfterDark.com.
Yeah. I like this. Well, we should get one of these here.
Globally inspired late night bites.
Now, okay, I'm looking at the menu right here. Let's leave this up for a second.
Doritos Spicy Sweet Chicken Bites. They're like chicken nuggets.
That sounds pretty good. The michelada, I don't like micheladas that much. I'm not a big fan.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a beer with
with like tomatoes,
like tomato juice or something like that.
I think it's supposed to
and like a lot of they put like the tahini on it and stuff. I'm not a fan. I'd rather have a Bloody Mary. I'm not a big fan of those, so I'll pass on that. The Doritos Spicy Sweet Chili Ramen Rito. Yeah, I would eat that. I'm not a big fan of Cool Ranch Doritos, so I'm going to pass on the pita.
I love Cool Ranch Doritos.
The hot limon churros. I mean, I don't want the
ramen Rito
my churro to have like spicy in it. Really,
yeah. The pita looks like a pita bread sandwich. The flaming hot Cali roll is sushi, and so is the Doritos Spicy Sweet Chili Veggie Roll.
I don't know, man. I feel like this menu has way too much Cool Ranch going on. I'm more of a nacho cheese Doritos kind of guy.
You know what they're missing?
I like the Doritos Locos, the classic one that they do at Taco Bell.
They're missing what they should have is you know when you take Fritos and you open the thing and you just put the chili
put the stuff in it.
We should have a Doritos dish like that.
Have you seen that? It's. I'm sure you've seen it pop up on your Instagram. The food truck where people bring a full bag of chips.
We talked about it on this show previously.
I feel like we did talk about it. People bring like whatever their favorite bag of chips is to this food truck, and they open it and just put a bunch of like toppings and meats and stuff like that on it. And I'll say it looks pretty incredible.
I went to a minor league baseball game in San Antonio during the finals one year when I was there covering it, and they had Frito pie just on the menu. And you would go to the concession stand, and they would open a bag of Fritos, put some chili in there, put some cheese, some sour cream,
jalapenos,
stick a fork in there and give it to you. And you just ate it right out of the bag.
That's good
incredible.
stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah,
great.
I like that a lot. I don't know about this. I think that it's a good idea in theory. I'm not loving the menu though.
There's a lot of stuff on that menu for a concession stand.
Yeah,
like that's a pretty wide variety.
The sushi thing I would try just out of curiosity.
Do you think that makes it through the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Next year?
Yeah, because I mean you've got a huge brand supporting it.
It's Pepsi. We couldn't have it here because we're a Coke now.
What could be our what's a tie-in with Coke? Like what's a food tie-in?
Well, Coke doesn't own like chips, right?
They don't have a chip?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Does Pepsi own Frito-Lay or something?
I think there's some kind of marriage there. I think there's some kind of marriage there.
But they could have a Coke. I mean, we do have a nacho stand in FedEx Forum where you get like a half basketball.
I saw
nachos.
that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I think it's Tostitos or somebody we have a deal with. Don't quote me on that. But there is a nacho stand with different types of nachos and stuff. I did the tour when it reopened a couple weeks ago. And of course, now we have the Chick-fil-A in there. There's a Taco and Ganas. There's
got Rockin' No Pizza.
Food court on the terrace level now.
The food court is clutch. The food court is clutch, man. We hit up that food court when we came to the Hoops for St. Jude thing. The food court is
Well, you're a terrace level denizen. Your son loves sitting up there.
I do like to hang in the terrace. I'm a man of the people. I do like to hang out in the terrace quite a bit, actually. So yeah, we're gonna hit up that food court quite a bit.
I'm just glad
this
to
year.
have the Coke in there now. I'm in Atlanta.
I know. Yeah, I'm a Coke guy too. I am too. I know it was like
we had Coke on tap at my house.
I know you could never say it, but that is like one of the biggest moves of the offseason, and it's not even close. Like that's one of the biggest moves this franchise made this offseason was becoming Coke branded.
Drafting Zach Edey, switching to Coke. Yeah. Right there.
It's 1 and 2, and that might be one. It might be one. I mean, it's a big deal. I'm stoked about it at least.
I am too. All right, let's take one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll get you out of here. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
Much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
What? You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama,
Yeah.
you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
I said that was good, and they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bain three, yes sir! Desmond Bain with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lane Whitaker. He's been a Doyle. I don't like that song that you play there. We're coming back on that break
Why?
every time because it sounds like Beck's Loser, that little guitar lick.
It does kind of sound like that.
And it feels like it's undermining me.
I didn't mean it that way.
It's like subtext. We're going to get out of here in just a second, but before we do, we got GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
We learned that the Grizzlies are back. We're
back.
That's what we learned.
Let's get it.
They return tonight. It's going to be...
What time's the game?
The game is at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
And you can watch it on FanDuel Sports Network.
Yes.
Correct? I got that right.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. No, that's it.
Used to be Bally, now it's FanDuel.
Yes, correct.
That's all we know.
I got to figure out how I'm watching tonight. I'm kind of dealing with some carrier issues right now, so I got to figure out what my plan of action is for checking out the game.
Do fans? I know that everyone says everything just changed over. Like if you watch on cable, it's the same channel. It's just a new thing.
Not if you're an Xfinity customer.
Well, also the app should be the same app.
Yes,
but you might want to update it.
Update it, yeah, and it'll change over.
Yeah,
everything.
So you don't right at game time flip it on and then be like, oops. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's tonight, 8:00, Grizz Jazz. We're back in action. That's the game of the night.
What's today's biggest game?
That's it. Grizz Jazz, 8:00 on FanDuel Sports Network. The Grizz are 2.5-point favorites on the road tonight. Obviously undermanned. They're going to be without Jaren Jackson Jr., Luke Kennard, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams Jr. So they're going to need some guys to step up into bigger roles tonight.
It's the second highest over/under in the whole NBA tonight.
Really?
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, 228. Pistons Pacers is 235, but then all the other ones are much lower. Miami Orlando's 208. way lower.
Okay.
But we don't gamble on the NBA.
Correct. But we will make a pick, and I can't on the first game of the year. I mean, come on. We're hoping for a bounce-back season.
Yes.
That starts with winning on the road against a team that we don't think is going to be very good this year. Although, I will say, man, you know this. You've covered the NBA for a long time. Like, the first 2 weeks, man, you have so many bad teams beating good teams. There is a feeling out process in the league, and so you don't want to be one of those teams that gets caught like by crappy teams, because it will happen. You will see you'll see stuff and be like, oh wow, the Pistons beat the Celtics. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna see stuff like that these next couple of weeks, and you just don't want to be one of those teams.
Oh wow, the Knicks lost by 30.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are going to be teams also that 2-3 weeks from now are going to be like, all right, let's stop doing this.
Exactly. Everybody wants to win these first couple weeks.
Especially you want to win your home opener.
Exactly.
If you're the Jazz. So hopefully the Grizzlies can spoil that.
Yeah, and they got great home court. That's always been a tough place to play for everybody in the league.
At altitude, too.
At altitude. So hopefully they're ready. I mean, obviously, like we talked about things we want to see and whatnot. I just want to see a massive Ja Morant game. I just want him to come out and score 40 and have some highlight plays.
Kessler.
Yeah.
Dunk on John Collins.
I think that's what everyone wants to see, is just him come back and go off tonight. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
What are we watching on TV?
There's other NBA games on tonight. It's the start of NBA Wednesday on ESPN. I lost my little sheet.
ESPN has the Bucks at the Sixers.
Yeah, and then
who
Suns,
might not have
Clippers.
some of their players. The Sixers are ramping up a lot of guys. Paul George is still hurt.
Yeah, George and Embiid both out tonight. So you got Bucks at Sixers, followed by Suns at Clippers on ESPN. Also, if you're looking for something else to watch that's not sports, Maxine just dropped on HBO Max. I've talked a lot about that movie, that franchise, the X trilogy. So if you have HBO
I have
Max,
no idea what you're talking about. Like,
you never saw
couldn't
X
speak in
or
French.
Pearl or
no.
Man, that's a good trilogy to watch.
Was X
for Halloween?
The movie with Vin Diesel?
That's Triple X.
Oh, okay.
I can understand the confusion. No, this was a horror movie about group of people that go to film an adult movie on in a cabin. It's
a horror movie about that.
Oh yeah, and then things happen.
Wrong.
Yeah,
The
place they're staying's not that safe.
On the opposite spectrum of that, the Chick-fil-A streaming app's about to come out.
Oh, they don't have any Halloween horror special.
It's
nothing.
a family-friendly app.
I did
which
see.
You would assume.
I saw a little bit of. It's all original programming, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and there's like games and
I have no idea.
I saw they're gonna have cooking shows.
That makes sense.
They're gonna have cooking shows. They're gonna have like kids shows, like cartoons and stuff like that. I made fun of it. We talked about this when they first announced it. And I made fun of it, but I actually think it's probably going to do numbers.
Oh, yeah.
I think that thing will do big numbers.
Look, if you're a parent, as we are, you're looking for something for your kid to watch.
Yes.
You don't have to be on top of them and be like, oh, wait, hey, what are you watching here?
What is this?
100%. I can give you the iPad. You can go sit over here for 2 hours and you're going to be okay. Yes, it might damage your brain long term to be watching a screen like that, but it's okay. It gives me 2 hours of free time.
Oh, I did it. I mean, it was just a big box TV as opposed to... Now those screens are a little closer to their face.
Yeah, that's a little bit troubling. I told you I was cleaning out a closet at home yesterday, and I turned on the TV, and I turned on Pluto TV, and there's a Love Boat channel, and I watched about 3 hours of the Love Boat yesterday.
Why?
Because I used to watch it when I was a kid. Like my parents watched it, like every Friday night. I get that. And I was like, I kind of remember this show, but I kind of don't. So I watched it for like a couple hours yesterday, and it had all these stars of the 70s on there, which was kind of fun to watch.
You know what we've been watching a ton of that is actually awesome for like Halloween and this time of year? Speaking of like things that I watched when I was a kid, Scooby-Doo. Like that's a franchise that has, because I used to watch the old ones when I was a kid, like on Cartoon Network.
Yep.
And now they've done all these movies, and they have like guest stars, like celebrity voices.
But there was like a whole 70s run of Scooby-Doo where they had a different guest star every week. They'd be like, hey guys, it's Don Knotts.
Yeah, or the Globetrotters, or Batman and Robin, But
Tim Conway.
Dude, but they have so many, like we're still going through them. Like they have so many movies, so many shows. Well, man, shout out Scooby-Doo.
Boomerang used to have its own app, and now it's part of Max.
Right.
So like all those old cartoons are on there, like you know Richie Rich and all that, the Flintstones, all that stuff's on there. The Jetsons was one of my favorites.
I like the Jetsons too, but Scooby-Doo's number one. So shout out Scooby.
What's the best thing we've read?
You had something for this.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Calkins wrote a really good piece over the Daily Memphian. He talked to Richard Smith, who I don't know his exact...
It's one of the Smiths.
He's the, I believe, the CEO of FedEx, CFO. He's one of the higher-ups at FedEx, obviously.
One of the powers that be.
And he just talked about, with the start of the Grizzlies season, this is just an important time for downtown Memphis.
Yeah.
And getting people downtown, making downtown safe, people coming down here spending money. It's an important time for downtown. I mean, we don't have to sugarcoat it. Like me and GP talked about, there's someone got shot like in Crossfire this weekend in front of a hotel downtown, and so it's an important time for downtown. The article was really good, I thought, that Jeff wrote. So check that out over at the Daily Memphian.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
What's on tap for you tomorrow?
So GP's going to be live from Kansas City. He's at Big 12 Media Day. We'll talk to him, get the recap on that. I think he talked to Bill Self and a bunch of and Scott Drew and a bunch of the Big 12 coaches today. So we'll get the recap of that from GP, and we'll also break down Game 1 of the Grizzlies season as we get closer to the home opener this weekend. So it's a big show tomorrow.
I'm sitting in this afternoon on Grizz Beat with Jarvis.
Yeah, y'all get us ready for the game tonight.
Gaston's there. Mike Wallace is going to join from Salt Lake City. And then tomorrow we're doing the odds couple in the studio, and there Fish is going to be on the road with the team. So it'll just be me, John Roser, and CJ Hurt, talking gambling and getting ready for the weekend of football. There's a lot of football this weekend.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you doing this as always.
I always love sitting in.
Yeah,
love
dude.
hanging out with you guys. And I'm just excited to get the Grizzlies back tonight.
Me too.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We get almost the whole roster. Almost. Everybody else just hang in there until Jaron gets back.
I know, man.
Gigi.
I know. No one get hurt. Please, God.
By the way, Gigi was at the game the other night before the game, and he stopped by and said hello to me and Mike Wallace. And I said, how you feeling? And I said, you're good? He goes, yes, sir. And I told he called me sir like 3 times.
Yeah.
I told my son later, I was like, man, that made me feel so old.
Yeah.
Like, Gigi called me sir. And then I went to the grocery store and I ran into Gigi at the grocery store the next morning. And right after I told my son about it, and I was like, hey, by the way, man, you calling me sir made me feel so old last night. And he goes, thanks, man. All right, I'll see you, sir. Not again. He's just a polite young man.
He is. He is that.
We want him back on the court. We want all these guys back.
We need you, Gigi.
Let's go, Grizz. All right, we're going to get out of here. You've been watching the Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media. I'm Lang. He's Bennett. Abigail was in the truck. And we'll see you guys. Well, somebody will see you tomorrow. It won't be me. Gary will be here.
Yep.
See you then.